I want to read one of David's Psalms, Psalm 63, which says this: O God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My body longs for you in a dry and weary land where there is no water. I have seen you in the sanctuary and beheld your power and your glory. Because your love is better than life, my lips will glorify you. I will praise your name as long as I live, and in your name I will lift up my hands. My soul will be satisfied as with the richest of foods. With singing lips my mouth will praise you. On my bed I remember you. I think of you through the watches of the night. Because you are my help, I sing in the shadow of your wings. My soul clings to you. Your right hand upholds me. They who seek my life will be destroyed. They will go down to the depths of the earth and become the food of jackals. But the king will rejoice in God. All who swear by God's name will praise him, while the mouths of liars will be silenced. Many of the 150 Psalms written by David at various times in his life, they are often demonstrating the variety of situations that David found himself facing. And Psalm 63 was written at a time when David was being threatened by King Saul. He had escaped to the desert and was facing extreme heat, lack of water, and was being constantly chased by Saul's soldiers who wanted to kill him. David's reaction to that situation is quite interesting. In verse 1, we see his reference to those desert conditions and which are threatening his life, and he realizes that he can turn to God for support. In verse 2, he recognizes God's power and glory, even in the extreme situations that he finds himself in. Not only does he recognize God's power, he also acknowledges God's love for him and his concern for him. In verse 3, he says, "Your love is better than life itself." And he goes on to say in verse 7, "You have been my help." And in verse 8, "Your right hand upholds me." A great statement of God's help and support through times of real challenge. But we see also the reaction of David to God's help and support. In verse 3 he says, "I will praise you." In verse 7 he says, "I sing for joy." And in verse 8 he says, "I cling to you, and your right hand upholds me." David is showing tremendous faith and trust in his God through those difficult times. And surely we too should be looking to God for his support. I'm sure, like me, you too have had to face challenges in your life. Maybe even today, you're struggling with problems that you cannot really see an answer to. There seems to be no way out. But we too have a God who is powerful, who loves and protects us, who goes with us through both the good times and the challenging times. And so we too should be praising God as David did, trusting that he can protect us and seeking to find protection under those wings, just as David did. It's good sometimes to look at these Psalms of David and to remember that we too have the opportunity to come to our God with our prayers for help and support, but also with our praise and thanksgiving for all that God has done for us and will continue to do for us if we truly trust in him. It's good to be able to say with Paul, "My soul clings to you, and your right hand upholds me." Have a good evening.